Well, let's now solve a quadratic equation using the quadratic formula where we're just going to have one rational root. All right, well, this time, let's see, we've got x squared minus 16x plus 64 equals 0. And, of course, our quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c over 2a. All right, let's see. So we got negative 16. Negative 16 is b. Well, negative 16, well, let's write it like this. That's going to become positive 16 plus or minus the square root of negative 16 squared put that in parentheses, squared, minus 4 times a, well, a is 1, times c, and c is 64, square root of that, over 2 times a, which is 1. Okay, well, I'm going to need a calculator on this for sure. So let's see, we got 16 plus or minus the square root of, let's see, what is 16, negative 16 squared? That's 256 minus negative 4 times 1 times 64. So that's just going to be negative 4 times 64. Well, Shazam, that's negative 256. Square root of that over 2 times 1, which is just 2. Well, let's see. So this is going to give us 16 plus or minus square root of 0, positive 256, negative 256, going to give us 0. Square root of 0 is 0 over 2. So then we've got 16 over 2, which is equal to 8. And that's our solution. We just have one solution. And if you were to graph this, x squared minus 16x plus 64, you see that it's going to come down. It's going to be arms up, because we've got a positive coefficient. It's going to come and hit the x-axis at 8, bounce right off, and head back up again towards infinity. All right, well, cool. Let's do one more. And I don't really care if you want to or not. We're going to do it anyway. All right, woo, got some big numbers in this. Okay, so again, we're going to solve each equation using the quadratic formula, and the equation is x squared plus 34x plus 289 equals 0. So again, our quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2 times a. Okay, well, a is 1, b is 34, so we got negative 34 plus or minus the square root of 34 squared minus 4 times 1 times c is 289, square root of that, over 2 times 1, or just 2. Okay, so now we got negative 34. Let me draw that negative a little better. Negative 34 plus or minus, wow, 34 squared. What is 34 squared? Well, it's 1,156. Negative 4 times 1, well, that's negative 4. And I say negative 4 times 289 Well, Shazam, that's negative 1156. Should have expected that, since we're already told we're just going to find one rational root. Over 2, and then we got negative 34, plus or minus, square root of 0, over 2, and the square root of 0. Well, it's just 0, so we got negative 34 over 2. And negative 34 divided by 2 is negative 17. Shazam! X squared plus 34x plus 289 is going to equal negative 17. And you know what? That might actually be easier than graphing it when you think about it, because you're going to do all these window setting adjustments in your graphing calculator, so on and so forth. And so if you know this quadratic formula, it will work every time to help you factor an equation. And what would the factors be? Well, remember, we would change the sign, and it would be x plus 17 times x plus 17. Why don't you for that and see if you end up with x squared plus 34x plus 289. I bet you will.